A key component of the modern world economy, the chemical industry delivers products and innovations to enhance everyday life. It is also an industry in transformation, where chemical executives and workers are delivering growth and industry-changing advancements while responding to pressures from investors, regulators, and public opinion. Discover how leading companies are approaching these challenges here on The Chemical Show. Join Victoria Meyer, president of Progressio Global and host of The Chemical Show, as she speaks with executives across the industry and learns how they are leading their companies to grow, transform, and push industry boundaries on all frontiers. Here's your host, Victoria Meyer.
Hi, I'm Victoria Meyer. Welcome to The Chemical Show. This week, I'm talking with Michael Suver, EVP of Integrity BioChem. Michael's got a great story and a lot of experience in the chemical industry, 25 years of experience at a variety of companies, and most recently at a couple of really innovative companies, including Integrity BioChem. Michael oversees the commercial development and is really helping lead that business into the specialty chemical markets. Michael, welcome to The Chemical Show.
Thank you, Victoria. It's always a pleasure to speak with you, and I enjoy our time together when we can.
Awesome, thanks. So, Michael, let's just start. Tell us a little bit about Integrity BioChem.
Sure. Integrity BioChem is a relatively new organization. It was founded around 2017 to deliver a new bio-based polymer into the oil fields. Jimmy Jett, who is our CEO, came out of, quote unquote, retirement once him and Dr. Charlie Landis realized that they had developed this unbelievable bio-based polymer. And so they started to fulfill a need in the oil fields and quickly realized that this polymer was extremely versatile, started to expand quickly, brought on a lot of folks, and now we sit here today in 2021, and we have our oil field services division, we have a mining and industrial division, and now we have a specialty chemical division. So
awesome.
we have rapidly grown through this pandemic. We're launching a series of bio-based surfactants, which are really exciting, and the future's bright for IBC for sure.
That's excellent. So Integrity IBC describes itself as a technology company.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that? What is it about what you guys are doing that really lends itself from that perspective in terms of your core?
Well, I think, and you've been in this industry a long time, and it used to be when you had the term specialty in your name of your company, that really meant that you had this R&D platform behind you, and they would come in and help you formulate.
Right.
And they had these folks running around the country or the globe that would make sales calls with the account manager and really understand what the customer wanted and was doing. And that has really gone away. It's, companies really homogenized themselves over the last 25, and that's okay. But from perspective, everything starts in our lab. We develop these bio-based polymer products that are unique and very unique into the industry, whether it's in the oil fields or now specialty or industrial or mining. And it starts with what the customer is looking for, what are their needs and their wants. And we help tailor, a completion fluid or an adjuvant or whatever the case may be that could be unique for this customer. We have, our bench strength in our R&D labs are incredible, led by Dr. Charlie Landis, who is a famous man in the oil fields. We have 2 R&D centers. We have our mining and industrial R&D center located in Tucson. And then our oil fields and specialty chemical R&D center is located in Crescent, Texas, which is our headquarters. But everything starts with what can we do to help our customers deliver their products to their customers.
Cool. So, since you've joined Integrity earlier this year, your focus is really on moving them more into specialties,
Right.
specialty chemicals in the sense of industrial, household, personal care.
Mhm.
What can you tell us about, what does that look like for you guys?
Well, it has been a fun ride. I came on last October. They were a customer of ours for a few years in my previous role, and as they developed this polysaccharide uh, biopolymer, they quickly realized that the functionality of this thing was just crazy. And every day it seemed like they learned more and more and more things about the base chemistry. And they wanted to get into the surfactant business. They made surfactant blends, I should say, for the oil fields, and then started to develop some bio-based portions of the blend with this biopolymer. And as we quickly realized, there was a lot of stuff they could do with this polymer. And so as we started to make bio-based surfactants, we realized that the sky was unlimited to where we could take this technology, whether it was in personal care. Folks are now looking, to make free from some of the bad actors. Agricultural, HI&I, mining uses surfactants, and it's just such a tunable range of this biopolymer is so tunable and so compatible. It can make a long list, a product slate. I think we could actually make about 68 different surfactants with
Wow,
this
that's
one.
impressive.
It is. And the unique thing is we can make a lot of it. The knock to some degree with bio-based chemistry in the surfactant world is you can't make enough to fulfill the emerging need across not only here in America, North America, but around the globe. Bio-based anything right now is hot, and obviously people are looking to reformulate to get more green. And so we have taken advantage of our R&D capabilities. We already had the infrastructure servicing the oil fields and the mining. And so now we're taking that same customer service yes attitude and moving it over to our specialty side of our business.
Excellent. So you mentioned kind of scale and bio-based surfactants and bio-based chemicals have been around for a while. They're gaining a
Mhm.
lot more popularity. There's a lot of interest in it. And yet, as you point out, scale has been an issue. So, right. So we're seeing a lot of demand and requirements driven from consumers,
Oh yeah.
and maybe some regulatory agencies, depending on where you are in the world, which then come back to what the companies, the formulators and consumer products companies and industrial companies, et cetera, want to use. And yet, kind of, the secret behind all of it that, frankly, folks in the chemical industry know, and maybe the general public who's demanding these don't understand is it's very hard to get enough product to satisfy the market demands.
The surfactant market as a whole is ginormous, as you
Yeah.
know. It goes into every single market and end use markets around the planet. And the one thing that our bio-based chemistry is not, it is not fermentation.
Mm,
And so we're able to make bio-based surfactants on a scale of a synthetic based surfactant. And the time to make the surfactant is compatible with making the cycle time is compatible with making a synthetic surfactant. And
got
that's
it.
what we're able to make what we think can fulfill not only our customers' needs, but our future customers' needs.
Yeah.
We can make a lot of it. And we talked a little bit about that when we presented at the ICIS show a couple weeks ago. And that was really what got a lot of traction, because folks haven't been able to figure out how to make enough or have enough capacity to fulfill customers' needs.
Got it. So, and that touches maybe on one of my questions I had, which is as a relative newcomer, your
Mhm.
company is, only 4 years old. How does IBC gain credibility
Sure.
in order to achieve growth,
That's the hard
especially
part.
in these they're pretty difficult markets, right? You've got sophisticated customers who've been
Yeah.
around for a long time.
Mhm.
How do you gain credibility? Because there's an IBC.
Well, first, I've been doing this a long time, and I know a lot of folks in the industries that we're servicing today and want to service tomorrow. So I reached out and I had conversations with folks that I trust, that I've gained a lot of respect for over the years, and I asked that question. And I asked a lot of questions to folks that I've been fortunate enough to either work for or with some of the greatest people in our industry, and I'm blessed for that. And so that was a challenge. You
Mm.
know, servicing an oil field customer is very challenging, as you can imagine, and you've been in that industry.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so my challenge to IBC and our employees was to say, hey, look, that challenge going into the HI&I market, the detergent market, the personal care market, or the agricultural market is really a lot alike. You know, it's you got to service the heck out of the customers. You know, you got to be clear in your value proposition to your customers. But I think some of the things that I found early on was I wanted to kind of have a cheat code, so to speak. And so we have just partnered up with somebody who's in the personal care space. They're a second generation family owned business out of Dalton, Georgia, Southern Chemical and Textiles. They're now known as SCT. And I am very close to their family as well as some of their executives. And we sat down to talk about this new chemistry. They were very intrigued by it. So they're actually launching with our Eden Surf, which is our personal care and detergent line of surfactants. They're actually launching a series of surfactant concentrates featuring Eden Surf. They're going to call it Dextera, and they're going to market that to their customer base. So that's really exciting for us. That gives us a lot of, I wouldn't say instant credibility because you're always proving yourself every single day.
Yeah,
But what it
absolutely.
does do is it gets us some opportunities that we may have not gotten this early in our progression into the specialty chemical world. But
Sure.
you know, so we'll continue to do that type of relationships, and we're so excited. SCT is just a wonderful company, and they make wonderful products into the personal care and detergent markets, and we think we're a nice value add for them, and it allows us to expand our footprint much quicker.
Awesome. That makes sense. And in fact, a couple of things that really highlights for me. One, I think this is still a relationship business. So the fact that you're able to come in and leverage some of those relationships helps, right? It helps perhaps you accelerate where other new entrants in the markets may or may not have that ability. But it also sounds like with SCT and maybe with, other partnerships you're going to be forging in the future, you're actually able to extend your reach much more quickly
Yep.
with taking advantage of both their physical capabilities, but also their resources and their reach into the market.
Right. I mean, they're SCT, for example. I mean, they're just a solid organization. Whether you talk to producers that sell them the raw materials, or the distributor network they use, or their end use customers, they have the same core values that we have. Their technology, they're another technology driven company. I love getting our R&D and their R&D together, and then I just leave the room because they talk about things I have no idea.
That's sometimes the best thing.
It is, because I just get in their way, and they know it's, when we both recognize it, it's always an easy out for me. But it is really, really neat. And some of the things that we're doing that have not yet been, we can't really talk about it yet, are really exciting. And
Mike, you keep telling me this, that you've got secrets that you want to share, but you can't.
I know. But we're moving at a really fast pace. SCT, again, just allows us to talk to folks that we may not be able to talk to
Yeah.
for some time. And then just the whole technology side is really unique.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you've been in an entrepreneurial leadership role for a number of years, right? With performance and now with IBC. What have you found to be critical when you come into a new role like this and as a new entrant in the market, right? So this is, again, not your first rodeo trying to enter the market with a new company and new products. What's in your playbook? What's the key to success?
Well, I always tell myself to be as genuine and be yourself. I see and I pay attention to folks to succeed and folks that fail, organizations that fail. And I think they get away from who they are, not only as individuals, but then as an organization. So I always try to be who I am. And I don't ask folks to do things that I won't do myself. I think hard work and showing up is probably the most important thing to start. We're going to outwork people. We're going to out customer service folks, because look, whatever company entrusts you to and they're going to buy your raw materials to make a product, to market to either a consumer or their customers, you got to take that that's very important, that they're trusting you with their dollars to buy your product. And I take that very seriously. And I talk to not only our employees, but our suppliers as well, to say, look, this is really important, the things we're doing, because there's a whole host of people they can buy from. Now, our new technology, I'm not so sure of that, but there's other bio-based chemistries out there. And so first and foremost, I think you got to be yourself. You got to learn from your mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes when we started Performance. I mean, it was comical. You look back, and I'm making mistakes today, and you just got to own them, and you got to fix them, and you got to move on. And I try not to dwell. I don't dwell in the past. We're looking forward, and I've always. My dad was probably my biggest influencer, and he would always talk to me about surround yourself with people that are smart, intelligent, and then let them do their thing. And because the really
good advice.
The really, really strong, successful people want to be able to do what they're good at. And I see a lot of leaders micromanage. I'm not a micromanager. We set expectations, and we're going to meet those expectations and goals. So communication is another thing that I think is extremely important, not only if it's a 4-year-old company, but a 40-year-old company.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have to have those foundations, I think, in place.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Mike, what should we be looking out for next for you and for IBC? What's coming up that we should be keeping an eye out on?
Well, as I kind of mentioned, we have launched those bio-based surfactants. Eden Surf is our personal care and detergent line. Tegra Surf is our oil field, industrial mining side of the surfactant equation.
And are those ready for prime time?
So our industrial line is out. We're selling them. We're blending them. We're getting fantastic feedback from our customers, both new and existing. Our personal care line is ready. We're crossing all the T's, dotting all the I's. There's there's a lot more regulation involved. There's, we're working on things like our clean ingredients certification.
Got it.
We're just about there with our inking aim for personal care. That has been an ongoing, interesting ride for us. I don't think we're the only ones that happens to. That's a great organization, and when it's touching skin, you got to have all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. And we're
Absolutely.
working We are sampling customers today, both large and small. We've gotten great feedback. Again, we've got SCT who's going to launch that surfactant concentrate into their market space using Eden Surf. We've got a lot going on. I don't think we're going to stop. That's not Jimmy Jet's MO. We're looking for how do we grow in these spaces, whether it's through partnerships, through acquisitions, through obviously organic growth. We're going to continue to launch new and exciting products. That's why I'm here. It's fun to be around that. So I think you're going to hear a lot about Integrity BioChem here, not only in the coming days and weeks and months, but over the course of the years to come.
Fabulous. That sounds awesome. So Mike, this has been a great conversation. If people want to find out more about you or get in touch with you or
Sure.
Integrity BioChem, how do they do that?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, which is, it's becoming it's a great resource. I'm on LinkedIn every day, watching podcasts like yours that you put out and others, the whole sustainability piece. We're learning more and more about that. I think that is a fantastic thing that companies are doing and taking ownership of.
Yeah.
And we're going to be a part of that, obviously, with our bio-based chemistry. Our website, we have developed new websites. We've launched some of it, but you certainly can go out to integritybiochem.com and see what's going on with us. If folks have attended the ICIS show a couple weeks ago, I think now about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we did present. We were a big part of Tuesday's event where I presented not only our technology, but our vision and what we're about as an organization. That was extremely well received. I will tell you that I've
Fabulous.
never had to tape a presentation before in my life, and it's the hardest thing I've ever had to do.
Yeah, it sure is.
The outtakes that the folks at ICIS, they said they laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. So maybe we'll share that with some folks one day. But
that would be fun.
So that presentation is out there. You certainly can get a hold of me or customer service. We're ready to go with customers, and it's an exciting time to be at IBC for sure.
Awesome. And it does sound really exciting. So Michael, thanks for joining us today on the Chemical Show. I really appreciated your perspectives.
You have a great show, and you do wonderful things for our market space and the chemical industry as a whole. So it was my pleasure, and I'm just thankful that you had me on and to tell our story.
Absolutely. And thanks to everybody for joining the Chemical Show today. And remember to like, listen, and share, and keep getting the word out. Thank you.
Thank you.
We've come to the end of today's podcast. We hope you enjoyed your time with us and want to learn more. Simply visit thechemicalshow.com for additional information and helpful resources. Join us again next time here on The Chemical Show with Victoria Meyer.